Hey everybody, it's Martin at Now and Then 64 here. Something a little bit different today. Over the past week I've been working on a little project on Rollercoaster Tycoon Classic. It's a game that I always loved growing up, and every few years I get the urge to play again. And yes, I kind of hit that point a few days ago and kind of quickly got the idea of trying to recreate a version of Middle-earth within Rollercoaster Tycoon. It hasn't been that easy, to be honest, because the scenery selection and the amount of choice that you get within the game isn't that great. But I'm quite happy with how it's turned out. And just to say, there is probably a bit more that I might do within here, which I'll talk about as we're moving through Middle-earth. But I just wanted to show you all what I've been up to, and yeah, you can get your thoughts. So let's take a journey through Middle-earth. So starting here in the Shire, where you can see our handyman, Samwise Gamgee, who's busy at work tending to the flowers and the gardens and the lawns. And in the middle, we've got, or at the top, we've got 3 hobbit holes. This is supposed to be Bag End here. You can kind of tell because it's the biggest one with the most detail and most kind of flourishes. We've got barrels here representing Bilbo's wine stores, and there's a tree on top of Bag End, of course, quite famously. And while I wasn't able to make a green door, I've kind of tried to approximate that with this green background wall here. And here, the smaller hobbit hole is supposed to be Bagshot Row, where Samwise lives. Then over here we've got the mill, and this building here with the barrels outside is supposed to represent the Green Dragon as well. And then looks like it's the day of Bilbo's party, with the party tree and the party field. And again, there's barrels and whatnot to represent drinking as a common thing. You can see up in the northwest, the top left corner of the screen at the moment, there's a little something over there, but I'll come back to that later on. So this is where the hobbits would have set off on their various journeys. This river running north to south here is the Brandywine, or the Barandwin, to give it its proper title. And here you can just see behind these trees the Brandywine Bridge taking you out of the realms of Hobbiton. And then we come into this little area here where we've got the old forest, and you can just see tucked away in the old forest, if you look very closely, there's a cottage. It's quite difficult to see actually, and that cottage is supposed to represent Tom Bombadil's house here. This spooky haunted house represents the Barrow Downs. And here we've got the village of Bree. So we've just got a nice walled village there. And I guess we could assume that this larger building here is the inn, is the Prancing Pony, if you want to get technical about it. Moving through Bree, we have got Weathertop here, and it's got a hot dog stand next to it because that's where you get sausages, tomatoes, nice crispy bacon. Next to that, just this little wooded glade here is supposed to be the Troll Shores, and these 3 skulls are supposed to represent the trolls turned to stone in The Hobbit. And then we come to Rivendell. Up on the mountainside here, and there's a couple of little, I guess, Easter eggs I've thrown in here. The fire down the bottom left is supposed to be the forge where Anduril is created, and because Frodo gets some R&R here, I thought I'd include a first aid station as well, as he's healed from the wounds that he suffers on Weathertop. So there are 2 paths heading out of Rivendell, one to the north and one to the south. Let's go chronologically and take Bilbo's adventure first. And you can see that actually when I turn the mountain see-through, you can see there is actually a genuine path running through the mountain, which takes Bilbo and company pass through the Goblin King's lair, and it's also, of course, where Bilbo would ultimately find the ring and meet Gollum. That comes out on the other side of the mountain, and this little hut is supposed to be the House of Beorn, the shape changer. And then crossing over Anduin, the Great River, there's a path that leads through Mirkwood, which is a pretty big wood. I'll just scroll out so you can see how big Mirkwood is. Pretty large. And there are two settlements here in Mirkwood that I've included. One down the bottom here in the south is Dol Guldur, which is where Sauron was holed up during the events of The Hobbit, and around that time as he was searching for the ring. So there's a kind of mean-looking black little castle thing. And then in the north of Mirkwood, there is Thranduil's realm, the Elven King in The Hobbit. And again, I've included some barrels here which hint at the way that Bilbo and company make their escape from the elves. After that we come to Lake Town, Esgaroth, where Bard lives and his townsfolk. And there's a bit more I might do here. It looks a little bit bare at the moment, but just to kind of give you the idea. And finally, the company head up to Erebor, the Lonely Mountain, and we've got the front gate and the little side entrance as well, which is what is ultimately used by Bilbo to gain access to the mountain. No dragon inside, unfortunately, but it's possible. I could maybe put a roller coaster in there or something if I actually decide to turn this into a park. So back to Rivendell, and of course Bilbo takes that north path, and the Fellowship, several years later, take the south road as they head towards Mordor. And you'll recall that they try to take the pass of Caradhras, the mountain, which they're not able to pass because it's the weather is too inclement, as caused in the films by Saruman. In the books, it's kind of implied that the mountain itself has a vendetta. I've included the snowball launchers here at the side of the path to represent the blizzard that they get caught in. And of course, ultimately, so that's the pass of Caradhras, the Redhorn Pass that leads down over the mountains. But ultimately, of course, the Fellowship has to turn back and take the road south towards Moria. And the lake outside Moria, I've represented the Watcher in the Water here. That's actually the name of this ride. It's got several arms, was my thinking, so that's kind of the mindset there. And of course, there's a seafood stall here as well, which has the kind of octopusy thing on it. Again, there is actually a genuine path heading through the mines. It goes down, and then I guess here this could be the Bridge of Khazad-dûm, on the way back out on the other side. And there's a skull on top of the mountain which represents the Balrog. So after the Fellowship come out the other side of Moria, they take refuge in Lothlorien, which is represented here. You've got the fountain in the middle, which is supposed to be Galadriel's mirror. And again, that leads back onto the Great River Anduin. And we've got these longboats, the canoes, to represent the way the Fellowship travel downriver. As we move down past Fangorn Forest here, down the riverway, we've got the Argonath, the statues of Elendil and Isildur. And shortly after that, we've got the beacon of Amon Hen, which is where the Fellowship breaks. And the Fellowship goes their separate ways. So in the case of Aragorn, Legolas and Gimli, they're of course trying to save Merry and Pippin as they're being taken to Isengard. Oh, I need to replace a bit of wall. Let's do it right now. There we go. So this is Orthanc, the Tower of Isengard, where Saruman lives. And the river coming out of that is the Fords of Isen. And they head all the way, that heads all the way to the sea. Let's spin the camera around this way. And ultimately, these are the plains of Rohan here. And here's Edoras with the Golden Hall and the horse statues to kind of indicate Rohan. And the Golden Hall where King Theoden resides. And of course, the people of Rohan and Edoras have to evacuate and flee to Helm's Deep, which is the fortress here, not too far away. So a couple of things about Helm's Deep. I've included the little side door that Aragorn and Gimli make use of during that battle. And this is the turret that Gimli at the end goes up and blows the horn of Helm Hammerhand. And in the wall I've included this grate, which is the weak point that's exploited by Saruman's army by exploding the wall. Along the mountaintops you'll see that the beacons, which are part of the early part of Return of the King, in the films at least, that's when they're lit. And that takes us along this mountain range. Something else that I might include is the Paths of the Dead. It might be cool to put a little tunnel here or something to represent the Paths of the Dead. Ultimately, the people of Rohan come to Gondor's aid. Gondor represented by two settlements here. Osgiliath on the river, which is where Faramir is wounded as he tries to retake the river from Sauron's armies. And of course the White City, Minas Tirith, which is multi-leveled. Unfortunately, it would have been quite an effort to get this to the 7 levels of Minas Tirith, but I think we've sort of got 3-ish. Certainly 2. So you can see the White Tree as well in the courtyard in full bloom. So happier times in Gondor whenever this was being referred to. And that's the Citadel, of course, where Lord Denethor resides. Now back to the breaking of the Fellowship at Amon Hen, and Frodo and Sam, of course, head off towards Mordor. First they have to navigate through the Emyn Muil. This is where they run into Gollum. Gollum becomes their guide. Let's spin the camera around and takes them through the Emyn Muil and the Dead Marshes. And they arrive at the Black Gates of Mordor. And of course they decide to take the road south into the pass of Cirith Ungol. So here I've got the this is our Shelob. This is my representation of Shelob. This ride here, and we've got the Tower of Cirith Ungol as well. Mordor, as you can see, is a pretty mean-looking place with lots of fire and more fire. And these little army, battalion tents, garrisons, I guess. And of course we've got the Tower of Barad-dûr, Sauron's tower, and the colour of the seating down the bottom here is supposed to represent the Eye of Sauron, so hopefully if we put it on a test run it will elevate to the top and we'll see the Eye of Sauron. There we go. Perfect. Looks exactly like it. So that's that. And then finally, of course, Mount Doom, which is raging, as you can see. And these little dudes around the outside are supposed to represent the Nazgul, or the fell beasts that the Nazgul ride. There's 8 around the perimeter of Mount Doom guarding that. And the 9th one is down here by Cirith Ungol. And you'll note as well, hopefully, that we've got what looks a bit like a golden ring on the slopes of Mount Doom. So, I don't know, did Frodo reach the end of his journey and I don't know, drop the ring? Forgot about it. So that's pretty well it. There's only just one more thing that I haven't mentioned, which was way back at the start in the Shire. And that's the end of the story, of course. Frodo and several others go to the Grey Havens to take their leave from Middle-earth. So this is the Grey Havens represented here as well, where the ring bearers get on the boat for Valinor. So there you go. That is the exploration of Middle-earth as expressed in Rollercoaster Tycoon. As I say, there's probably a bit more I'm going to do to it to add in some more details and stuff, but hope you enjoyed that. It's been really fun building it, and yeah, well, it remains to be seen what my next project might turn out to be. Thanks very much for watching.